Blessings in the name of the Lord Jesus. Welcome to Paraclet TV, making disciples through the power of the Holy Spirit. In this video, I would like to share with you the benefits of digital portfolios because in our age, in our digital age, and the social media is very useful, as well as the cyberspace is very needed in the school learning and teaching process. So there is the so-called digital portfolio, and I would like to share with you what is the meaning of digital portfolio and what are the benefits that can be derived from this portfolio, and of course the different inclusions of the so-called digital portfolio. Now, what are the benefits of digital portfolio? The first one, it can capture the whole student in a way that standardized tests or summative assessments simply cannot. So comparing the preparation of digital portfolio to a paper and pencil test, in a paper pencil test like a standardized test or summative assessment, it can only assess the cognitive domain of the student, and this is very focused, while in the preparation of a digital portfolio, it can capture not only the cognitive but of course the affective as well as the psychomotor domain of the students, because it will not only, any inclusion or any element in the portfolio will not only showcase the mind of the student, but of course his leadership skill, the communication skill, and then of course his values can also be reflected in that inclusion in a portfolio. A student can build a digital footprint that may help them gain future work or education opportunities while learning about digital citizenship. So this is a very required competency for the learners of today, or the learners of the 21st century, that he has to develop these competencies that will not only be confined within the four corners of the room, but of course in the future, because he has learned the digital footprint, he will of course be ready in the future work. Now, because most of the jobs or the works that are available in the future will mainly be in the digital footprint, or the use of the cyber skills, as well as in the 21st century skills. The essential skills that are needed for a rapidly changing world in job markets can be developed. And later in our discussion, I will show you some of the essential skills that you students must possess, and if you have possessed that, the later job will be easier for you because you have already have these essential skills for the 21st century. Motivation for learning may increase when students are given independence in choice when building their portfolios. Of course, their confidence, not only their knowledge and psychomotor skills are at stake when they are preparing the digital portfolio, but of course the motivation to place the best output will be increased. Now the motivation of the students to give the best on his portfolio will increase because they are given independence, and they will have a free will which of his accomplishments can be placed in a certain portfolio. Another benefit, students can express themselves according to their strength or learning styles. Some of the videos that you will find in Paraclet TV, these videos discuss about learning styles, about the strengths and weaknesses of the students. So it is very true that there are multiple intelligences. So the digital portfolio of the students will showcase which strength or learning style of the student can be seen. Example, they will be placing an audio or art or music, or the different, say for example, if the students is a verbally linguistic intelligent, or some are spatial intelligent. So we can find that these things will be reflected in a digital portfolio. And the next benefit is students can keep track of their progress, successes, and learnings over time in an organized way. So a portfolio will serve as as an organization of the different learnings of the students, and based from the elements that he will put in a portfolio, the student himself, not only the teacher, will see his progress, will see his successes. Say for example, a perfect score is placed in a portfolio, or from the revised output, the students have a 3-star or a 5-star. That will really be a boost to the morale of the student. Now we can see that in the 21st century portfolios, the following competencies or the following variables are incorporated. You must have the 21st century tools, and the best tool of course will be the internet. The best tool can be a computer, or there must have a Wi-Fi. These are 21st century tools. Then we have the 21st century skills, and the 21st century skills will be discussed later on. And then you have the core competencies, or the competencies that are prescribed in the learning unit, whether it is provided by the teacher or by the school or even by the Department of Education, which case may be. So the integration of the following elements can be seen in the 21st century portfolio. You have the integration of technology, and then we have the content or the standards, and then you have the effective assessment, teaching, and learning. In the effective integration of technology, the student must have an experience to be exposed in the technology, using the different platforms, not only the Facebook, not only the YouTube, but the different platforms that can be seen in the cyberspace. Or even not only that, but he must have an experience of using an application, especially in the academic aspect, that he has used this application. So in our present educational system, that we are exposed to the integration of technology, the teacher must always provide an opportunity for our learners to use the technology in the making of assignment, or even the use of Google forms in giving the quiz, or even the use of Google Suite in the different discussions of the learning in the teaching process or in the topic. Then the content standards, of course, are prescribed by the school or by the department that is assigned in the different subject area, or even we call that as syllabus, or we call that as resource unit. Others, they call it as curriculum contract. But whatever it is, that those things can include the content or standards, in which this will be the basis of everything that can be included in a portfolio. Especially, we called it as the 21st century portfolio. The standard must always be there, so that it will guide the selection of effective technology, or even the use of effective assessment, teaching, and learning. So the teacher at this point in time, especially that we are in pandemic, we are using the synchronous and asynchronous class, using the social media, or using the different platforms, especially the Google Classroom. We have the Google Meet. So the traditional way of teaching must be revised to attend to the demand of the so-called the new normal in the educational system. So I know that there are many seminars, there are many trainings that are available, so that every teacher is prepared for the new normal in the teaching, in the learning process. And not only the teaching, the learning process, but that not only the teaching method, not only the teaching strategies, but of course even the assessment is new as of this moment, especially that we are not using the traditional paper in pencil exam, but we are using, in our case, most are using the Google Forms, wherein the students will not write, but they will just do the clicking, clicking the button of the so-called, in case that a multiple choice is set for their assessment. And not only that way of assessing, but of course, they are also times that they will be use their hands in encoding their answers, a short answer or even a composition, but they are not using their pencil or ball pen. But because of the 21st century portfolio, they are now going to encode, and after they have encoded, they are going to save it, and all this same information or output must be the best of them could be included in the 21st century portfolios. The traditional portfolio that requires our students to place all the physical outputs that are usually in papers or as well as in cartolina or even in Manila paper. Now this time, in a 21st century portfolio, most are being presented by a picture or say by a copy of the saved document or the saved item, a copy of what was presented to the teacher or what was submitted to the teacher. And then of course, in the traditional portfolio, in the 21st century portfolio, the most important of course part will be the reflection. In the previous video that I have already recorded, I have given you how to do the reflection by answering the questions that are set in doing a reflection. The same questions must be answered in the making of reflection. Even this is called a ePortfolio. Now, the 21st century skills, I would like to share with you some of them. We have these 21st century skills are divided into three. You have the foundational literacies, then you have the competencies, and then we have also the character qualities. The foundational literacies answers the question how students apply core skills to everyday tasks. Now, under this, we have literacy, you of course, then you have numeracy, scientific literacy, and then there is an inclusion of ICT, the information communication technology literacy. Then there must of course have a financial literacy, and then you have a cultural and civic literacy. So it is very important that you have to be, as teachers, we have to train our students to be good in ICT. So it's good that in college there are subjects or courses in information communication technology. But even in elementary and high school, we have to really give our students an opportunity to use and integrate the use of ICT. It must be a lifestyle for our learners to use the ICT in the different learning and teaching activities. Then financial literacy must also be included because the use of ICT is not cheap. There is a need of spending. So there must have lecture and a skill on financial literacy. Of course, because the social media is everywhere, it is global, there must also a literacy on cultural and civic, as we must of course respect other nations, other groups in the use of this foundational literacy. Now, the competencies answers the question how students approach complex challenges. especially that we are in the new normal because of the pandemic. There are many challenges, not only simple, but of course, complex challenges. Imagine the rooms are now in our homes. Imagine that the teachers, we don't meet them, we just see them on the screen. And even our class or your classmates, the other learners are just seen on the screen. And based on my experience as a professor, I usually don't see a few of my students on the screen because they usually say that they are just using data, so the video will eat much of their data, so they will just put a picture on the screen. So these are some of the complex challenges that not only students but of course teacher must adjust to them. And these are the different competencies under the 21st century skills. We have the critical thinking and problem solving skills. Of course, creativity must also be included, especially in the preparation of the ePortfolios. Then of course, communication, because in doing the reflection, in satisfying the different elements of any inclusion in the ePortfolio, you must be good in communication, and there must of course have the competencies in collaboration, because in the preparation of portfolios, most especially the ePortfolio, there must have an effective collaboration between among the students or among the learners as well as the teachers. And sometimes or most of the times, the parents must also be there in guiding their children in the preparation of the portfolio. And the last one, we have the character qualities. And character qualities answer the question how students approach their changing environment. So under their changing environment, these are now the character qualities that our learners must have. We have curiosity, initiativeness, persistence or gift. Then we have leadership, and then of course social and cultural awareness. So these are now the 21st century skills that are divided into foundational literacies, competencies, and character qualities. And last in this video, I would like to share with you the different key elements in an ePortfolio. You have the so-called application, you have the references that must also be a part of the portfolio, then your resume. As simple as it can also be included in the portfolio. The test scores, the grades, your attendance, then the letters of recommendation, if there are letters that were made, then your sample work must be included in the portfolio. The awards and certificates are good inclusion to the portfolio because that's the highest achievement that I can say when you receive an award or a certificate, even it is locally done or most especially a district or a division contest. Your awards or certificates can be a good inclusion to your portfolio. Then of course the career plan, and there must of course a cover letter. So these are addendum to the previously discussed important elements of a portfolio, but all of them can help you to prepare a very effective portfolio because the portfolio is a reflection of your own level of achievement in the academic world.
Share Jesus. Subscribe and share Haraplet TV. Go, go, go.